Well, this is the week of Halloween, so I thought I'd talk about zombies. Our local paper here in Appleton, Wisconsin had an AP dispatch that was actually unbelievable, if you will. Let me read part of it to you. The headline says, Marines, Police prepare for mock zombie apocalypse. And it says San Diego. Move over, vampires, goblins, and haunted houses. This kind of Halloween terror aims to shake up even the toughest warriors. An untold number of so-called zombies are coming to a counterterrorism summit attended by hundreds of Marines, Navy Special Ops, and soldiers, police, firemen, and others to prepare them for their worst nightmare. Quote, this is a very real exercise. This is not some type of big costume party, unquote, said Brad Barker, president of Halo Corp. Hundreds, they're the ones who are running this exercise, by the way. Hundreds of military, law enforcement, and medical personnel will observe the Hollywood-style production of a zombie attack as part of their emergency response training. Called Zombie Apocalypse, the exercise follows the Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's campaign, launched last year, that urged Americans to get ready for a zombie apocalypse as part of a catchy public health message about the importance of emergency preparedness. The Department of Homeland Security jumped on board last month, telling citizens if they're prepared for a zombie attack, they'll be ready for real-life disasters such as a hurricane, pandemic, earthquake, or terrorist attack. Well, I think the former military people who run organizations like this have been playing too many video games. This is sort of silly, really. It's silly on one way, but in another way it is not, because it is getting these military and other personnel, police, etc., used to the idea of combating civilians, American civilians. That in and of itself is a problem. It did have posse comitatus laws. The military is not allowed to gather intelligence or seek intelligence on American citizens. That sort of thing for years and years and years. They weren't to use the military except unless the governor requested it from a particular state. I know, for instance, that the former Major General who was in charge of the armed forces after the Rodney King riots in Los Angeles, after he retired, he became the head of one of these video game corporations. At any rate, this fellow, Brad Barker, president of Halo Corporation, has stated in an interview that he wants to see all personnel, military, police, etc., to go through their program and have their program as part of the system that everybody learns in the process of being trained. So everybody that has anything to do with law enforcement, military or civilian, he thinks should be run through their program. I don't know. I just think it's somewhat ridiculous, except for the fact that it is an excuse to get people thinking in terms of working against civilians. We're a little bit concerned about voter fraud. There's been a couple of instances lately that indicate that it is going on. Individuals who pre-vote are entering their vote into the machines, and it comes up Obama instead of Romney repeatedly. They say it's just a matter of adjusting the apparatus that they're using to vote. Well, it would seem to me that it's a little bit more than an adjustment. We also have word that there are Somalis being transported around in the state of Ohio to vote. These are individuals that can't seem to be able to speak English, but they're being driven to the polls, and I assume repeatedly. I've said on this broadcast before It's about the only time I agree with the United Nations. But the United Nations has said that Somalia is the most corrupt nation on earth. And it is. And yet we've imported, by we, I mean our government has imported refugees from Somalia into this country. And they are forming all sorts of gangs, and I don't mean on the streets, I mean behind the scenes, with illegal activity, as bad as pedophilia, houses of prostitution, where they take little kids and cater to that genre. At any rate, speaking of the United Nations is poised to send emissaries into the United States to be poll watchers, to make sure that we're going to have a fair election. It's sort of like the Union Army sending Sherman in to make sure that they've got a fair election in the South. Only certain people can vote. And so what has happened is that the Obama administration has given diplomatic immunity to these poll watchers. Places like Texas, however, has said, if you violate any of our election laws, when you come in here, in and around the polling places, you will be arrested. I hope every state does that and lets them know that it is none of the United Nations business how we vote or how we connect or how we conduct our voting. That's our business. If it's corrupt, we can take care of it, as long as the people understand that it is and unite behind a program to do just that. So that's pretty much what's going on before the election. We're all anxiously awaiting to see what the outcome will be. It's too close to call, although some people are starting to say that Romney may win the popular vote but lose in the Electoral College. One of these days, I think one of these broadcasts will be on the Electoral College itself, a magnificent system that our forefathers put together, but it has been changed gradually over the years to what we see today, which was not exactly what our forefathers wanted. It was done for a number of different reasons. One reason that they never talk about was how it was designed to actually have a check and balance within the executive branch itself. We'll do that sometime in the future, and until then, we'll see you.